Is there anybody out there who actually plays the theremin? There's gotta be. We're in Portland.
Right here!
I expect there's gotta be somebody who knows what the themin is.
Right here!
I got a whole section of theremin. Every theremin player in Portland is here. Fantastic. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Paul.
How are you, man?
I'm worn out from that set.
Dude, isn't that amazing? He's a philosophy professor. He's also played the guitar professionally.
And you apparently are an actor.
I'm apparently an actor, and I do not play the theremin professionally. I'm an amateur. This is lovely to be in Portland. For 3 years, I lived in another city to the north of here, in a state to the north of here. I'm not going to say what that city was. And I'm not going to say something foolhardy like, I think this is kind of a nicer city. I'm not going to say something stupid like that. But it is a really great place. And I got to say, I was walking around today and thinking, why the fuck did I leave the Pacific Northwest? Why did I move to New York City? Because it's great here. It really is. So it's lovely to be here.
We walked down to Powell's today. We took a long walk, spent some time at Powell's.
Spent a lot of time.
We went to the rare books collection.
That's right.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
It's a beautiful place.
No, it's great. Anyway, now we're here, and if for those of you familiar with what we do,
I'm the fans of the podcast.
Yes, some people are so. The rest of you will be shocked at what's about to happen. You'll be absolutely amazed that two grown men will do what we're about to do. We pick a topic usually, and it's usually something that we find interesting, and sometimes we may not know much about it. In this particular topic, I was surprised to think I don't know anything about one of these things we're going to talk about. I don't know shit about unicorns, I realized.
Now Paul is a master.
Yeah. I kind of am, but I thought, this familiar animal, a unicorn, that is so ubiquitous and such a part of all kinds of mythology and stuff, and I don't really know anything about them, or what the hell the deal with them is. So we were going to talk about unicorns.
And they're like, oh, is that what the topic is? No, we're sort of like telescoping out from unicorns to other fantastical creatures. So all kinds of mythological and sort of magical beasts will be the discussion.
Right. And I said, we're in the Pacific Northwest, and you have Sasquatch and shit like that. But that's right.
Oh,
but that's real.
That's
That's real. That's real. But it is interesting because I did want you to start off, Professor.
Okay.
Yeah. By telling, what's the difference between a sort of just mythological thing and a cryptid, which is what Sasquatch is?
Yes.
You know, it's like he's a cryptid.
Okay.
Or it's a cryptid.
It's a good question. I don't have
Thank
a
you.
really well done.
Yeah,
I don't
thanks.
really have a clear answer.
Oh, great.
Because I think historically it was all mixed up together. There'd be something like a unicorn or like a crazy creature like the Blemii, were these creatures that...
The what?
Well, the Blemii. Come on,
Okay.
follow me here.
All right.
They don't have a head. They look like a human, no head, and then the face is coming out of the chest. Are you familiar with the Blemii? This is
What the fuck? I've never heard of that.
Anyway, so there would be legends about these creatures
Right.
being brought back by travelers, adventurers who had gone to the east or whatever it was.
Right.
And so,
Like Marco Polo.
yeah,
and stuff
Marco
like that.
Polo, John Mandeville, whatever.
Right.
And then eventually this settled into some creatures that turned out to be real, like the giant squid.
Right. Orangutans.
Orangutans, yeah, like the platypus. People are like, that's real? Come on.
I still think the platypus is fucking fake. It's really hard to see a platypus.
Yeah.
It's apparently like impossible. I read about some naturalist who spent years waiting to see a platypus, and the thing just was kind of like, and then was gone. And it made the guy's whole life.
Also,
They're also poisonous.
yeah, they have like a hook on their
They're
hands.
fucking vicious, a platypus.
They're not vicious.
Oh, they could kill you. They could kill you if they wanted to, couldn't they?
I don't know if they could kill you.
They're a crazy animal. They're really
They
crazy.
laid eggs, and nobody believed that they laid eggs. And then these like British society was like, no, but they don't lay eggs. And this guy was like, I'm gonna shoot one while it's laying an egg. That's what he did.
Really?
That's horrible.
Do people eat platypus eggs? Can you go out and like eat? Is that like a delicacy?
That sounds like a whole new episode of the ChinWag.
It's Australia, right?
Yes.
Is that where they are? Yeah. Oh
So
my
anyway,
God! How
to
do you
answer
eat
your
a fucking
question,
platypus? Yeah. Okay.
To answer your question,
Yeah.
I think you've got something like Bigfoot, which is a cryptid,
Uh-huh.
and may or may not be real. Just out of curiosity, how many of you think Sasquatch is real?
Yeah!
All right. It's context dependent.
Oh wow! Okay. You want to come up and just yeah? Wow. Context. Well, that's interesting. Context dependent. Yeah. Very interesting.
Like if you're high or stoned, then you But I think the Fantastic Beasts are sort of slipped into legend altogether. There's no longer a question about the unicorn, I think.
Right.
That would be my view.
No, okay, that's cool. Thank you. That's good to know. Thanks a lot, man.
You sounded sarcastic.
No, not at all. I don't know. I mean it. I absolutely mean it. But these are my extensive notes right here. I thought I'm just going to dive into this and see, and I was surprised to see how far back the idea of a unicorn goes.
Yeah.
They got him in the Bible. I'm like, why is there a fucking unicorn in the Bible? You know, I mean, it doesn't seem to have any point, but it's mentioned in the Bible, unicorns. And I guess it goes back even further, about 2,000 years into the Indus Valley, which I guess is sort of northern India.
Yeah,
kind of.
that's right.
Yeah, and that there's the first depictions of a unicorn, which was this cow-like thing. And for a long time, scholars like yourself thought that it was these depictions of these creatures was a bull seen in profile. So all you were seeing was one horn.
The horn, I
Right.
see.
And then somebody somehow figured out that in fact it was a unicorn you were seeing. It was only one horn that you were seeing.
But it looked like a cow? Because usually
Yes.
it's a horse type figure. with
Exactly.
The single.
But that's the kind of early days of talking about a unicorn. It's not this kind of elegant, beautiful white horse
of like
that we think it is.
medieval period. You get
Exactly.
the beautiful white horse.
No, it's much more kind of like, it's big. What's his name? Pliny. You like Pliny.
Pliny,
And
the
Pliny-
Roman historian, or natural historian.
He was a naturalist who kind of gathered all these stories about stuff. He said it is a very fierce animal, and this is interesting because they're ferocious in the early stories of them. They're very fierce all the time. It has a single horn. It has the head of a stag, the feet of an elephant, the tail of a boar. The rest is like a horse. What's left after that? The fuck is like a horse. It makes a deep growling noise, has a single black horn, 35 inches, exactly 35 inches, exactly, projecting from its head,
Okay.
which is clearly a rhinoceros.
Yeah, that sounds like a rhino. Are they just
Right?
confused? Like,
I think they must have been.
yeah.
Right? Because later you get Marco Polo claiming to see one. It's the same thing. He says, watch this. He says, yeah, it's smaller than an elephant, feet like an elephant, black horn, pig head, wallows in the mud. Clearly not what we think it is. And it's clearly a rhinoceros, right?
Yeah, that sounds like a rhino.
So do we think the whole basis of this is a rhinoceros?
Well, I mean, that's weird because...
You say yes. Context, lady.
Context dependent.
Context. Yes?
My hero provides some context.
Thank you.
After that period,
Yes?
Albrecht Dürer tried to portray a rhinoceros.
Correct.
And
Yes.
failed spectacularly.
Yes.
I'm done here. I'm just going to go.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. Now just turn the theremin over to you. Albrecht Dürer, he did an etching of a rhinoceros, right?
Yeah.
But he
Because
never
he saw an actual rhinoceros.
No, he never saw it.
He never saw it.
Never saw it.
No. It was
So-
on its way. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, what? Wait a second, what the fuck happened? So there's a rhinoceros just wandering around Germany?
No, there's no rhinos and...
Oh, there's no rhinoceros at all. Okay.
But he is told about this.
Yeah.
Okay, they describe it to
He
him.
fails spectacularly.
So he thinks he's drawing a unicorn. Is that the problem? Is that
Wait.
what's happening?
Okay, I have to add context to your context. Hold on. You're right, but what is happening is that they are gifting an actual rhino to the king, and Dürer knows when it's coming in, so he goes down to the port, and he's going to draw it when it arrives.
Right.
Turns out the ship sinks, the rhino goes down with the ship, a guy survives,
Oh,
and he
Jesus.
interviews that guy, and does the drawing based on the interview that guy
Wow.
gave. Yeah.
That tracks.
And
Thank
it's
you.
a really good drawing.
It's a really good drawing.
Yeah,
It's an
amazing.
incredible drawing of a rhinoceros, actually, and seems pretty accurate.
Except that he adds another horn on the shoulder blades, which, I don't know if you want to cut him some slack.
Yeah, maybe.
Just get it
Wow,
to
that's
survive.
fascinating. I didn't know. That's amazing. I thought he drew it from seeing it. Well, I was wrong once again.
This is the first time.
I know, it's got to be the first time. So I mean, it certainly sounds like a rhino, and it certainly doesn't seem like the thing that it becomes later. And I don't understand how something changes like that over time, but it does. Which is a fascinating thing that human minds and imaginations do. They shape these things and change them.
Yeah, so maybe you get like the basic archetype idea, and then you start twisting and shifting it for other ends, because it turns out to be important to Christianity, doesn't it?
Really important. Yeah, as it goes along, somehow it turns into this kind of white horse with the horn coming out of its head. Well, there's a narwhal too, but yes. I'm sorry? Good Lord, Portland is full just like... Jesus Christ, this is man,
You just submit your report later.
Yeah, no. The narwhal, which is that crazy looking whale, white whale with the horn. Does that then do people see a narwhal and then start thinking, and then they, Jesus Christ, this guy too.
He's got the context.
Oh my God. No, please. Then what?
They equate the two, basically
Yeah.
the horn of a.
And so sailors are going off and seeing the narwhal and going, well, clearly that's a
No.
unicorn.
What happened was, just so you guys know, there's a Q&A section.
Yeah, there is actually. You'll get a chance to talk and attack us as much as you want.
We love it. But
Yeah, we
the
do.
thing is, the Vikings they took these horns off the narwhals and they sold them to the suckers in Europe.
Yes,
They
as a
said,
unicorn
"This is
horn."
unicorn horn," and then they
They
would put
did.
it in their music. Yeah.
No, and there were all
Yeah.
kinds of, it was called alicorn was the substance that they said
Oh, really?
of a unicorn's horn. And there were all kinds of magical properties attributed to it. Jesus Christ, what? Somebody just say Viagra? It was the Viagra of its time. It was the Viagra of its day.
Yes, that's true.
Is that what you said? Was that just imagining somebody yelled Viagra? Which frequently happens to me. I'm just imagining that women are yelling Viagra at me all the time. What? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the OG.
It was the OG Viagra. Was it? Because then there's all those other like tiger penis and
Yeah,
stuff.
everything is a kind of in natural medicine. This is still true in Chinese medicine. Everything is supposed to it's supposed to increase your virility. It's supposed to be the natural Viagra. So whatever else it does, it also does that. I told you that story when I was in China. I drank the turtle blood.
You drank turtle blood, yeah, which was supposedly gonna.
But it wasn't for that purpose. It was for okay, all right.
Oh, it wasn't to restore potency.
No, I was sick. Okay. They said it's also going to help you in that area.
Very good. I don't want to know any more about that. That's it with that story. But it's fascinating. But to get back to how it changed in the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, I guess because people saw the narwhal and thought, okay, that must be a unicorn, is that it takes on, yes, all of this kind of strange association, because there was this idea that it was a very fierce animal, which I think is weird, because we don't think of unicorns at all now as being ferocious.
Yeah.
Now they're like farting rainbows and stuff like that, right? And now it's like they're very cute and peaceful or whatever. There's any number of associations with them now, but ferocity is not really one of them.
That's true.
But at the time, they were seen as these really out of control animals, and again, even the white ones, these kind of beautiful white ones. And it became the basis of, there was a whole sort of legend about unicorns, that they were wild, and it was the presence of a virgin that would calm them down. And then it became associated with Christ, because of this sort of like virgin and this animal, and its blood was curative and stuff like that. So the whole thing changes into a completely different
medieval period.
In the medieval period. And there's actually these amazing tapestries. And I can't remember, I've seen them and I can't remember where. Context.
Yes.
I was probably high, I'm sure I was
You're
high.
going to tell us.
They're in the Met or they're at the cloisters somewhere, but it's a series of them, and it's the hunt of the unicorn. And it shows the whole thing of the virgin capturing it and taming it, and then they don't kill it, but they keep it kind of penned up and imprisoned, and it becomes this incredibly peaceful beast, and it's somehow associated with Christ.
And it's got it's sort of like nuzzling up to the female, and there's other animals around, all tamed.
Yeah.
I have here just a paragraph from the Physiologus.
Fantastic. What is the Physiologus?
The Physiologus is a collection of writings about what do animals really mean, like symbolically. So, animals
from the Middle Ages?
Yes, it's actually from like the 4th century, but it was real popular in the medieval period because painters would use it for the allegories.
What? Really? Like, so people would be like, I'm going to put an owl in my painting.
Yeah,
what does that mean
up.
if I put an owl in my painting? Really?
Yes.
That's bizarre. I didn't know that.
So here's the entry on the unicorn.
Okay, doke.
It says, oh shit.
Oh God, you lost it. Oh, Jesus.
Glasses. Okay.
You want my glasses?
In Deuteronomy, no, I think I can do it if I'm fired up. In Deuteronomy, Moses said while blessing Joseph, his beauty is that of the firstling bull, this is the unicorn, and his horns are the horns of the unicorn. So this is actually from Deuteronomy, so there's a reference to the unicorn
right.
there.
The Bible,
then the monoceros, that is the unicorn, has this nature. He is a small animal like the kid, is exceedingly shrewd, and has one horn in the middle of his head. The hunter cannot approach him because he is extremely strong. How then do they hunt the beast? Hunters place a chaste virgin before him. He bounds forth into her lap, and she warms and nourishes the animal and takes him into the palace of kings. And then it says basically, this is a kind of metaphor for Jesus. Coming down from heaven, he came into the womb of the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
He was loved like the son of the unicorns, and David said in the Psalms.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So just put that in your painting. That's fascinating. So this was, and you could just, so people would consult this going, that's really funny. Like, I didn't know such things existed like that.
It's like the secret language of the painters, because shit means all this stuff, and you don't know what it is. It's all symbolic.
That's really cool. Well, I'm sorry?
It's written in the 4th century, and then in the medieval period, there's like many editions of it. So it kind of expands and contracts.
It's not a bestiary. That's a different thing.
It's sort of like a bestiary. It is a kind of a bestiary.
I
would say it's one of the first ones.
But it's kind of admitting that none of this stuff is real.
Whoa.
Isn't that the way? Isn't that kind of just going
No. I think they're saying this is real. these animals are real and these meanings
Here's
are real.
what they mean.
Because God made
Okay.
the world this way,
I
and it has
see.
a moral structure and all that
Okay.
shit.
Oh, okay. So it's not denying anything.
Yeah.
A moral structure and all that shit.
Well, I came out wrong. I came out wrong.
There's all kinds of cool other things that come off of it to this end. I mean, we were talking about all the properties of it and all the I know you like Hildegard of Bingen. Does anybody know Hildegard? Yeah, I thought you would like Hildegard. I knew you would like
A bunch of
Hildegard.
people in the Hildegard.
I knew you would love Hildegard. She recommended an ointment against leprosy made from unicorn liver and egg yolk.
That's a good.
Sounds not bad. Yeah, why not? That sounds pretty
bad.
good. Wearing a unicorn's leather belt was supposed to protect a person from plague. Can you imagine killing a unicorn, skinning it, and tanning its hide to make a belt? It was good against plague and fevers. Leather shoes of the animal prevented diseases of the feet, legs, and loins. And here was something I loved. The royal throne of the Royal House of Denmark, made in the 17th century, is called the unicorn throne.
Oh, is it?
Because it's largely made out of these spiral horns that, of course, turn out to be narwhals. They turn out to be narwhal tusks. But the fucking kings and queens of Denmark still use this thing and still claim it's unicorn horns. But it's narwhal's horns and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
It is weird. There's a whole fantastical biology. Like most animals, apart from I think the rhino, have
Yeah.
parallel structures or horns or whatever. So there is something kind of magical about it.
The single horn?
Yeah, the single horn.
Oh, that's
is strange.
interesting. I never thought of that.
I think in the rhino case, in the narwhal, it's actually a tooth that's growing out of its head.
It is
In
a
the
tooth.
rhino case, it's actually hair.
Really?
Yeah.
So what purpose is it like for fighting and like offensive and defensive stuff, or it's just it happens to have a clump of hair growing out of it?
I think it could be both. It could be that it was for defense, but it could also be sexual selection where the females really like this look and they are attracted to it, so
okay.
it evolves to attract females.
Interesting. Well, that's an interesting thing too. I think with the unicorn, that it's sort of fluid. It's not really clear sort of what gender it is and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
which is
that's
interesting.
right.
Yeah, which is also interesting.
And it's kind of gotten is it kind of popular now in anime and sort of like there's sort of like a new version of this.
Is it?
Well, now we go to you guys.
I know, you're dead silent. You got silent. You got silent. You guys are just cowed. No? Is it sort of like popping up in different places?
Well, what's the connection with like rainbows and stuff? Is why is it?
I read a
really
thing that the Victorians did that, but
Oh.
I'm sorry?
People love gay shit.
People love gay shit. That's true. That's true. But apparently the Victorians, people do love gay shit. But apparently the Victorians sort of came up with this rainbow. They softened the whole image of the.
And so you got a different kind of marketing.
You do get a different sort of thing going on. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I know that we're sort of going to look at other magical creatures, and you are interested in the Minotaur, right?
I am interested in the Minotaur. Yes, indeed.
Minotaur or Minotaur? How do
I
you
think it's Minotaur. Am I right? Minotaur.
Or just like
I know. It's just like
don't
being at a
patience with
baseball
me at all.
game or something. I know. It's crazy. Yeah, I am really interested in the Minotaur. And I've always been really interested in the whole thing of sort of people changing into animals, animals changing into people, and hybrids of animals and people.
Yeah.
And is that like, it's a hybrid of an animal and a person, is that like part of a definition of a monster?
I would put it as one of my definitions of a monster for sure, because if you look back in history, wherever there's heroes, there's also monsters, and the monster is often a hybrid of at least 2 or 3 zoological categories. So you'll see like Humbaba in Gilgamesh is like a mix of a couple of different creatures, all that ancient Greek stuff.
Yeah,
And the
centaurs
Minotaur's
and
one of-
stuff
yeah.
like that, centaurs. But what's a chimera? What is the chimera?
Chimera is like a lion's body, a snake tail, and then this is the most fucked up part. It has like
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has a goat head, I think, growing out of its back.
Oh.
Something like that.
Right.
And it's like the stupidest.
That seems lazy.
Yeah, that's
that
just
monster.
lazy. Like,
That just seems
put on its
lazy.
back.
Yeah, just throw every possible thing in there. It seems like kind of a lazy, lame one to me. Yeah, that's a funny one. I don't really buy the chimera particularly. But I was super interested in the Minotaur when I was a kid. And I thought, I'm going to look into this, find out about the Minotaur for this. And I was absolutely blown away by the whole story of the Minotaur, because I didn't really know it. I knew all the Theseus stuff with the labyrinth and all that stuff, but I didn't really know the deal with what the Minotaur was, the whole thing of it. And it's also really fascinating because with Greek myths, there's so many different versions of
there's
these things,
tons of different
which is really
versions,
weird. That whole thing is
And
weird.
then Roman versions.
Right. And so I just thought, I got the basic one down.
Okay.
And I just thought, I don't want to bore everybody, but this is so fucking crazy, this story, that I just wanted to like let you know that the whole sort of myth of the Minotaur starts on the island of Crete and King Minos, but he wasn't king yet. He was contending to be king with other guys, and then he sort of won power. And as you do, as guys do, when they win power, they want the gods to affirm that they belong there. So he turns to Poseidon, who I guess is the god, the chief god for Crete, because it's an island.
Yeah.
And he says, send me a sign that I'm really the right guy to be running this country. And out of the sea, Poseidon sends a gigantic white bull, comes out of the sea, which is a crazy image to begin with.
I hadn't heard this before.
Yeah. So the bull comes out, and this is, and he says, well, clearly I'm meant to be king because here's a bull coming out of the sea. But he makes a fatal mistake in that he doesn't sacrifice the bull, which is what he's meant to do. He doesn't sacrifice.
Well, how do you know what you're supposed
Because,
to do?
well, maybe you're not supposed to know, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He fucked up, and he pisses Poseidon off. So Poseidon's revenge is to make Minos' wife, Queen Pasiphae, fall in love with the bull, fall in lust with the bull. She goes nuts for this bull. And she says to Daedalus, who's the guy who makes the wax wings and all that stuff, she says to Daedalus, you gotta help me out with this bull. You gotta find some way to get me to be able to meet with this bull. It's crazy.
Minotaur after hours.
So much, spicy ChinWag after hours. Daedalus builds a wooden cow for her to hide in, and the bull mates with her. And she gives birth to this monstrous creature.
Well, just give me a second.
I know. So she gives birth to this thing. And here's another thing. The Minotaur has a name. I didn't know this. The Minotaur's name is Asterius. And she tries to take care of him. But, you know, he's half bull. He's half man. And all he'll eat is human flesh. And so and as he gets bigger, he's out of control. It's horrifying. It's horrifying. So Minos says, what the fuck are we going to do with this thing? So he goes to the Oracle at Delphi. Are people still with this? Is this still... Yeah, right. Yeah, whoa!
That's Portland.
I know, see, Portland. God bless Portland.
God bless
I know. Because I'm telling you, in LA, they'd be asleep by now. So he goes, yes. So he goes to the Oracle at Delphi, King Minos. He says, what should I do about this? And this is really interesting. The Oracle doesn't say kill it. The Oracle doesn't say get rid of this monstrous thing. The Oracle says, go to Daedalus, and he will build you a labyrinth to hide it. To hide it in. How fucked up is that? And that's where you go, these Greek myths are deep, dark, psychic fucking things.
Really weird.
Hide the fucked up thing.
Yeah, right.
Just hide it under your house, hide in a fucking labyrinth. So Daedalus builds him a labyrinth, builds up this huge labyrinth, and they hide it in there. Story goes on. That's not the end. That is not the end. The bull, the great white bull, this huge bull, is still running around Crete, causing all kinds of problems. It's out of control. So the seventh task of Hercules is to catch the Cretan bull.
Oh, that I've heard.
Right.
That's one of the labors.
Yes, one of his labors is to catch the Cretan bull and relieve Crete of this fucking menacing, gigantic white bull that the queen is having sex with. And so he goes down there, he gets it, and he takes it to some other king who also imprisons it, just like the Minotaur. So that thing gets imprisoned now. All right, now here's where it gets really good, this story.
None of this was in the Disney version.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No. This is so. Here's the best part of it. The bull escapes, okay, into Marathon. What is Marathon in Greece? Is it an area?
It's a
or-
place.
It was a place, right?
City.
It's where we get the whole thread. It's like, yeah. What's that? Exactly. It's a region. Thank you, sir. God bless you for being here. So the bull escapes, and it becomes known as the Marathonian bull. Whatever. That's not important. So anyway, King Aegeus of Athens, who's Theseus' father, he's holding games He's holding these, like, and all the fine young men of Greece are coming and participating in these games. And the son, the natural son of Minos and Pasiphae, remember them? They're the king of Crete, named Androgeus. He's participating in this. He's the half brother of the Minotaur, and he is the picture of great health. Okay. He's not monstrous. He is this amazing athlete. He participates in this thing. I cannot believe I'm telling this whole fucking story.
This is great.
And he's winning everything. He's winning everything. And the bull shows up in these games.
That's not
and
fair.
Because in Crete, it's not fair, but in Crete, one of the great sports of the Cretan youth is to bull jump. So he tries to bull jump and he gets fucking killed by the Marathonian bull. So the natural son of Minos gets killed by the father of the Minotaur, this bull. It's fucking bizarre. The payback of the whole fucking thing is crazy. And this is what leads to Minos saying to the Athenian king, you now have to send 7 boys and 7 girls to me, and I'm going to feed them to the Minotaur in recompense for you killing my fucking son.
Wow.
Because that bull got out.
Wow.
And so it's all revisited on him. The fucking symmetry thing, the whole fucking story's a labyrinth. It is. It keeps leading back to the bull and bulls. And then labyrinths and bulls are all over the place in Crete. The image, it's on the money.
Oh, is it?
The labyrinth is on the money. There's bulls painted everywhere, all over the place. It's crazy. It's really like, what the fuck is up with that place? And the place itself is crazy because it's where Daedalus was, and he makes all these contraptions for
And Daedalus is the father of Icarus.
Yes.
And Icarus, they fly too close to the
Icarus
sun.
builds the labyrinth with him too. They build it together, and there's father-son activity for them. Just to build a labyrinth to put the Minotaur in. But yes, he does all that stuff for him. But the other thing that's interesting about the Minoans is they seem to be technologically advanced, and a lot of this seems to be attributed, but they actually were. They seem to have central heating under their floors and plumbing, and it's the basis, apparently, the Minoans, for the Atlantis myth, they think. That it was this advanced culture that got wiped out and destroyed by a volcano, I think. But they think that possibly the Minoans are the basis of the Atlantis myth.
Jesus
I have just been shut up for about 10 minutes. Sorry, guys. When I thought that fucking story, I find that story so fascinating because it's so dark and fucked up.
Yeah,
it's
dark.
really fucked up.
Well, presumably myths are supposed to mean something.
Yeah.
We're lost here because this is horrifying. I mean, I suppose Freud and Jung
It totally
would look at
does.
this and think like,
Totally.
okay, these are archetypes of some kind, like.
But this unnatural, fucked up product of the way you've lived your life, you have to hide it.
And it also comes
can't
back
get rid of
to
it.
punish
Yeah.
you later.
You
like,
can't get rid of it. Yeah, I mean, so it has that kind of thing to it. You know, he fucks up and he leaves it there. I know more about labyrinths too, but I'm not going to bore you with that. The labyrinth thing is a whole interesting thing. It's crazy.
Well, labyrinth makes sense because it's a great metaphor or sort of like allegory of like all of life. Because all of life is a kind of labyrinth.
Yeah.
You feel like you're going to get out of it, or there's the solution, or
Yeah.
I'm almost there, and then you get turned around.
Totally. I think the original idea of a labyrinth too is to trap evil shit. Was to
Yeah,
be a place
right.
where you put it, you could trap a demon in a labyrinth was the idea.
But you know that like now, if you look online on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, there's all these sort of like images of people in liminal space. You know what I'm talking about? Like rooms in between other rooms.
Yeah.
And it's like the sort of backstage, and
Yeah.
and people are fascinated by this.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And you're just sort of just lost in it or whatever.
So you're saying like a labyrinth is kind of like that.
I mean, it's sort of the
That's
new version of
interesting.
the labyrinth.
Yeah. I was interested to learn that the earliest forms of labyrinth were something called unicursal, which means it was only one unambiguous way to get to the center of it, which is weird. It wasn't, a maze is what comes later, and it's multicursal. Which means it has all these dead ends and branching offs and stuff like that. But that was a later development. But the labyrinth that Minos built must have been one of those because Theseus needed a thread to get out of it. So it wasn't one of these simple ones, but originally they were these very symmetrical, simple things where you
Like
just went around,
spirals, a
got to the
spiral
middle.
or something,
Yeah, it's really weird.
Well, I think in the Minotaur case, like you have a mix of a bull and a human being, and we've talked about this before, but it's interesting, like the shapeshifter thing.
Yeah.
So it could be a werewolf is like part wolf and part man,
Yeah.
woman or whatever, and so there's a sense in which are you are you taking the thing you're most afraid of and then mixing it with a human so that you can kind of get used to it? Or are you taking something that just has a lot of power in your local community, like a bull, you know, or a horse, and then you're mixing with a human so you can have a sense that humans are more powerful than they.
Interesting.
You know, it can be both. These
Yeah, I
things.
suppose so. To me, it seems like it's just something really wrong and unnatural.
Well,
you know what I mean? That it's wrong and it's not. You know, so it's uncanny in some way. Yeah, it's unnatural.
Yeah.
In some
Well,
way.
one theory is that if you have a thing that's wrong in this way, it sticks in your head better than something that's just normal. And the theory is that if you really want a culture that sticks in people's heads, like a meme that's sticky, then you have these mashups of different kinds of creatures. Because then I'm going to tell it to my friend, like, you can't believe this fucked up thing that's like part this and part that.
Interesting.
So you'll transmit it, and then you have a whole culture is based on this stuff.
Yeah.
But I got one for you.
Okie doke.
This is a creature that is in the physiologus, and it is called the aspidocolone.
Okay.
And the aspidocolone, you will know by another name, maybe, or at least you've heard of this. You've ever seen a story where these guys are maybe cruising around on a ship or a boat, and they pull up on a tiny island, and they're like, this is a great place to overnight.
Yeah.
Let's start a fire. And they start the fire, and then what happens? It starts to shake like there's a sort of an earthquake, and quickly they realize it's starting to dive underwater. And that is the aspidocolone.
So the whole thing is like
It's an animal.
Oh, it's like a fish that you're.
Giant fish, and so he describes it in here as like the aspidocolone whale. And it basically lures you onto the island, and then it sucks you down.
That's like that's like in like Pinocchio and shit too, isn't it?
But it's crazy that it comes from this.
It comes all the way from that. But that's like a kind of like Jonah and Pinocchio and all that stuff. Everybody can eat you and stuff, or is it just well, it must, right?
Yeah,
There's
then
no point to
it
like
eats you, yeah.
drowning you unless it's going to eat you too. I've never heard of that one. That's crazy. There's the rock bird. Do you know that one?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
another
gigantic
one.
from Middle Eastern culture.
Yeah. And that's a similar thing that Sinbad gets to. I think it's in the 1001 Nights.
Yes, it
the
is.
Arabian Nights, and he gets to this island and he sees this gigantic white domed building, and he doesn't know what it is, and he's climbing all over it. It's a fucking egg, because it's the rock bird's egg, and he comes back and it's not pleased that he's climbing all over the egg.
It's interesting, there are these giant creatures like the griffin, like the rock, and you'll see that they'll go cross-culture. Like dragons are sort of cross-cultural. You'll see the East.
Dragons are a whole other thing. I mean, that's like something we could spend a whole other thing on. And they're very different meaning. There's a very different meaning to the Chinese that there is to people in Western culture.
Europe, yeah.
Do you know the difference?
Well, I think in China, generally it's a positive creature. Sometimes the Chinese will say that they're the Longren. The Longren means like we're the people of the dragon. We are the dragon people.
Right.
And so it's a magical beast. You'll see reference to it in Taoism and later in like Zen paintings and stuff. And I think it's considered to be a protector, whereas I think the Western is trouble.
It is, and it's always hoarding treasure and stuff, and it's guarding stuff, and it's all like Smaug and all that stuff. Yeah, that's interesting, because actually the unicorn, I read up about the Chinese unicorn, which is very different, because the Western one's really ferocious, but the Eastern one, the Chinese one's very gentle.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's completely the opposite thing.
I think the Chinese have a much better, healthier attitude towards these creatures.
No, that's true, actually. There seems to be much more of a kind of like acceptance of monsters or something like that in some way that's really interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I was actually, it's now reminding me, because there's an interesting thing, and I thought this was cool, because I didn't think of Confucius as a person that had sort of fabulous stories related to him.
Not usually.
Not usually, but a unicorn his mother was pregnant with him, and a unicorn appeared to her to announce that she was going to give birth to this great sage. Yeah, but it's kind of crazy. The Chinese unicorn is like covered in scales and stuff like that, and is also sort of crazier looking, but it's very gentle. And in the story, she ties a piece of silk around his horn, and then when Confucius is very old, somebody kills a unicorn, a hunter kills a unicorn, and he says, I want to see this fabulous beast, and he goes out to look at it, and it has a piece of silk tied around its horn. And he knows, and now he's going to die now. too. So it's
Really?
really, yeah. But it's cool that it's like, but it's a much more gentle thing.
I wonder if you think about Western culture, it starts with Adam naming the animals. And if you look at Book of Genesis, it's like, here's nature, here are the animals, but human beings have mastery over the animal kingdom. This is how it's said. We're supposed to shepherd nature, but we're more powerful, we're more like God, the Imago Dei, we have reason and all this stuff. So this can lead to some exploitation because we're supposed to be higher than the animals. Whereas I think in the Eastern tradition, humans are just more like a part or a member of the animal family. So maybe there's more acceptance. Maybe, I'm just speculating.
When did people start making zoos? Do we know that kind of thing? Like,
It's a great question. I think
ma'am, does anybody know?
Ancient Egypt. Okay.
Ancient Egypt is when they start, really, that far back they start making zoos, like menageries, and gathering animals together.
But in recent memory,
Oh,
Sorry?
the audience is like competing
No,
with each
listen.
other. No, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No.
No.
In recent memory, zoos were also for people.
Yeah.
Zoos were for people who were deemed insufficiently civilized.
Zoos are for people.
Yes.
They keep people in a
Yeah, you're
zoo.
thinking of Barnum and yeah,
Oh, yes.
P.T. Barnum and
There are
freak
people
shows and
who
stuff
are
like that.
currently alive who
Yeah.
remember,
Freak shows you're talking about, things like that.
Where there were human zoos.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
1893.
They would have
Chicago's
this kind of
World
like,
Fair.
here's all the different cultures from around the world, and they would
Yeah.
pick people in cages. Yeah,
They're
yes,
they're
yeah.
protected because they can't,
Yeah.
be outside because they don't deserve that.
Right, yeah, totally. And so, yeah.
There's a famous 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. This is the one where H.H. Holmes was murdering people. You remember this, right?
Yeah, and now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Now we're about this fucking fabulous piece. Let's talk about a serial killer. Yeah, okay. All right, here we go.
That was just an aside.
No, now you gotta talk about H.H. Holmes.
Okay, so while Holmes is basically luring innocent women to his murder castle, people are displaying basically it's called the White City
Right.
in Chicago. They're displaying animals, but also they've brought whole tribes from other parts of the world. It's pretty exploitative stuff.
H.H. Holmes. You were telling me recently something that I didn't know about him, which was that house. Like, he had that house built.
Yeah.
Right? It did not exist before. He had it built.
Well, I think the shell of it was there. He built he just redid the inside of it.
He sure did. But I think you were telling me that he had different people build different parts of it?
Yes.
Were you telling me this?
Yes.
So that they wouldn't know what parts of it, nobody would know what sort of secret thing was being done. And so,
apparently there was, imagine like a 3-story house and then a sort of a cellar, and he would lure women into various places in the house, and they would have like a trap door and a torture center, and then it would drop people through and around and down again, eventually down to the basement. The guys who designed the house didn't know what they were making, because he would hire them, they'd do one floor, and then he would fire them. Bring in a new team, they would do that floor.
Right.
So he was smart in that way. Why, you know what I mean? I don't mean that.
he was crafty.
Yeah, they'll be like, Dr. Asma loves H.H. Holmes.
Exactly, that's right. What happened to him? I don't really, did he get, I've never read that.
I'm sure our audience will tell us.
Yeah, I know. What happened, sir? He was executed. He was caught and executed.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
They chased him down eventually.
They did.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I had back to animals.
Please.
We can go back to serial killers, but I think you're going to enjoy my little paragraph about the horrifying creature that we know as the beaver. Let me see if I can find this real quick here. I promise.
Were people putting beavers in their paintings a lot?
No, but there is a kind of.
But there's an entry on the beaver in the handbook, in the mystical creature handbook.
I love the way I queued this up.
Did people think a beaver was? Well, I guess they.
I'm going to tell you what they
Okay, here we go.
There is an animal called the beaver who is extremely inoffensive and quiet. His genitals are helpful as a medicine, and he's found in the king's palace. Okay. Are you with me?
Yes.
When the beaver sees the hunter hastening to overtake him in the mountains, he bites off his own genitals, and he throws them before the hunter. If another hunter happens to pursue him later on, he throws himself on his back and shows himself to the hunter. And the hunter, seeing that the beast has no genitals, departs from him. That's a clever...
What the hunter wants is the beaver's genitals?
Yes.
Would the beaver's genitals have some extraordinary properties?
Yeah, Viagra.
Okay. Here's the interesting thing, though. I actually brought this up the other day and you scoffed at me.
No.
No. That in the Shinto religion, and I've seen it if you've been in Japan, you know what I'm going to be.
I know Shinto, I haven't been there.
Okay, all right. And outside of a lot of the Shinto shrines, and then there's also outside of a lot of Japanese homes, is this sort of good luck charm beast. And I don't know what animal it is. I don't know if it's a beaver.
Tanuki.
What is it?
Tanuki.
Yeah, so what is it? What is it? It's a raccoon? With gigantic balls. No, it does. It's got a huge scrotum. It's got a humongous scrotum. No, and it's all over the place.
The show is all over the place.
No. It does. Thank you. And you've never seen this?
I have not seen it.
Yeah, and I guess it's some sort of, it's a good luck thing. It's some sort of good fortune thing.
Prosperity.
Yes, exactly. So that's interesting because that's really weird that it relates to our friend the beaver and his scrotum. That's fascinating.
The relation is tenuous.
It's just interesting. All over the world, there's a thing like a beaver, and then it's
Well,
about
it's
the
true
scrotum.
though that apart from our contemporary culture, which is very puritanical, most other cultures have celebrated the body and as a way of celebrating fertility, whether it's the crops or whether it's having children. There's all this imagery of genitals. I mean, we talked about the lingam in India or in Southeast Asia. It's just a giant phallus.
Yeah.
And the yoni is like a giant uterus. And these are in the temples, they're in the Hindu temples. It's not
So much of the generative Egyptian myth is tied to castration.
Yeah,
Stuff like Seth or one of those guys.
Castrated?
Sir, isn't one of them is castrated? And Osiris, yes.
Then they made him a wooden penis or something? What was the... They're confirming for me.
Well, amazing. Yeah, fascinating.
How did we get here?
I don't know. I really don't know, Steve.
Wooden penis of
I know.
Egypt.
We're in Portland talking about wooden penises.
But here's a question for you. If you think about this stuff, in the medieval world, nature was a kind of... There's the book of God, which is the Bible, but the book of nature is also written by God, so you have to study it to understand what God wants and what we should be doing. And I think, even though we don't have that view anymore, we do think of animals as sometimes being moral and immoral. But it's weird, it's for example, now the pit bull is sort of demonized as an evil animal, right?
Seems like that's changing.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of just trendy, whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know. There's no truth to this, maybe there is. I'm just saying, we think about nature this way, in moral terms.
Snagged poisonous animals
Yeah.
are seen as worse.
Ugly animals are evil and cute ones are good,
Right.
stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought was so odd about the unicorn, was that it was actually kind of violent and sort of out of control in its original sort of conception, which was just weird to me.
Yeah.
Because nothing about it seems like how you get to this place where it's not anymore is really interesting.
There's a letter that, when Alexander is studying to basically before he becomes the world.
Supposedly he rode a unicorn into battle.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, there's a legend that he rode a unicorn into battle.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But Bucephalus is a horse, though.
That was his horse. I think.
Yeah.
It had a horn? Good Lord, sir. This is amazing. Amazing.
Wait, did it really have a horn, or it was just...
So Bucephalus was a unicorn.
No, it was a horse with a horn.
Cephalus just means head.
Okay.
But there is a letter that Alexander writes back to Aristotle, who is his teacher, and he's basically in India, and he's describing the crazy shit that he's seeing.
Yeah.
And one of the things is, he's describing this animal that he sees, and it looks like it's a giant creature that has a horn, and it attacks the soldiers at some point.
Uh-huh.
And so the medievals loved this letter because it included all this other stuff, giant serpents, all kinds of huge bats, everything. The unicorn is described in there too, and I think that's, again, like you were saying, I think it's the rhino that they're seeing, and this is how they're describing.
I'm going to read you one final thing here, closing out the unicorns. Because I thought that, again, going back to the Chinese, because it's a different sort of take on what you just said of describing the things. And it's interesting because there's so much of this kind of, I have the first-hand account of this unicorn, and I'm Marco Polo and I saw a goddamn unicorn, and it's like all of this very sort of like certain thing. And this was interesting, and this is from this book that Borges wrote.
Great Argentinian writer.
Yeah, the great Argentinian writer wrote this great sort of book of imaginary beasts, which is a kind of modern sort of like bestiary that he put together.
Fantastic.
And he quotes at the end of the entry about the Chinese unicorn. It's from some French, he finds it in a French collection of Chinese literature. And he says, this book includes this mysterious, soft-spoken allegory, the work of a 19th century writer of Chinese prose. And it goes like this. It is universally held that the unicorn is a supernatural being and of auspicious omen, so say the odes, the annals, the biographies of worthies and others texts whose authority is unimpeachable. Even village women and children know that the unicorn is a lucky sign, but this animal does not figure among the barnyard animals. It is not always easy to come across. It does not lend itself to zoological classification. Nor is it like the horse or bull, the wolf or deer. In such circumstances, we may be face to face with a unicorn and not know for sure that we are. We know that a certain animal with a mane is a horse, and that a certain animal with horns is a bull. But we do not know what a unicorn looks like.
Nice.
Then that applies to all this shit, and it's this idea too that mystery pervades everything.
It's true.
That you could be looking at a unicorn, you could be the unicorn. Anything could be, anything could be the unicorn, which is fucking awesome.
That's classic
really
Borges.
Cool. Yeah, isn't that cool, man? I love that.
I think that that's something that Borges and we in the ChinWag are interested in, which is like, there's a way to categorize the world, and then there's all this shit that does not fit in the categories.
Does not fit in. Yeah, and so mystery pervades everything in some really cool way. Oh boy. Well, on that note, I feel like maybe we can do a Q&A.
Should we take some questions?
We'd like to do that, if people like to do that, if people want to do that.
We have a microphone.
We don't have
over here in the
Nobody should feel obligated
in
to
this
ask a
area
question
here,
or
so
do
some
anything.
brave soul steps
Here
up.
we go. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. My God.
They're all lining up.
Oh my God. Here we go. All righty. Hi there.
All right, hit us.
Oh, Jesus. So, what you just said about, like, anomalies accumulate.
Can everybody hear you? Everybody can hear? Okay.
I'm a very quiet person.
No.
And I,
Well,
I
you
apologize
talk,
sincerely.
but you don't
I know. I am so sorry.
No.
Everyone, I sincerely apologize.
Not at all.
So, I am wondering two things. So, you just seem to be talking about the accumulation of anomalies in like the scientific framework.
Yep.
So, I would be curious to know more about what you both think about that. And then also, I am kind of a UFO person, so I feel the need to let you both know.
Here we go. Here we go.
Here we go. But the annual festival for UFO stuff is currently happening in McMinnville.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I personally know that like two people who I don't know in the past have been like the MUFON people, the Mutual UFO Network. So they're people worth knowing, and McMinnville is a lovely place. So yeah, if you have time, I would highly recommend it. But in that context, I'm wondering if either of you have read John Mack's Passport to the Cosmos.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would love to hear you talk about your
Great,
experience with
okay.
that text.
Just small questions. Yeah, easily addressed both of them.
Yes. Well, we should point out, we did do a really fun ChinWag two-parter with sort of a bigwig in the MUFON
That's
community.
true. Yeah, Colorado. MUFON.
Yeah, so please go and check that out.
We also did it to the thing that hasn't been on yet, which is we talked to the news editor of something called the 40 Times, which you talk about accumulation of anomalies.
Yeah.
And sort of a scientific framework, and that's kind of what this magazine about, and that's what sort of being what's called a Fordian is about.
Yeah.
But
What you need to know about me is that I am essentially skeptical.
yes,
I share that with you, and also this is part of it.
very good. Thank you.
Cool.
Explain.
Yeah, I think that the Fordian idea that Paul mentioned is you're not really a believer or a skeptic, you're somewhere in between, like on the fence in a way. And that is like keeping an open mind about these anomalies. And that is definitely what we're trying to do with the ChinWag, is
Yeah.
just stay in that zone.
I like that zone of
Yeah.
unexplained, and it's more uncanny
Yeah.
feeling me. I have read John Mack's book. I read it a long time ago. I read both. John Mack was a Harvard psychiatrist who began studying the phenomenon of alien abduction.
And he listed two experiences.
Yes, and he did, and he treated it seriously, and he treated it as a genuine phenomenon. Although he could never quite decide whether it was a real thing or a psychological thing happening. And in either case, it was important to him.
Yeah.
In either case, he thought this is an
Yes,
important
I know.
thing that's happening. And I'm all for that, because it's like either way, whatever's going on, either way, it's a super interesting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if
But
it's
a great
not,
book.
even if it's not an
interesting book.
actual abduction, there's something very important happening.
Yeah.
I can remember I was in this was sort of a gospel choir when I was in college, and I remember we were playing gospel music, and people would start speaking in tongues. And I'm generally a skeptical kind of person, and so it was not clear to me that that the Holy Spirit was speaking through them. I tended to be doubtful about that, but something serious was happening.
Something was happening.
And that's fascinating alone. But yeah, what do we got next?
Thank you.
Sure.
Might go sideways a little bit. First is, what's the most primitive mythological creature known to have been cave painted or?
Uh-huh.
I know. Me.
Holy shit, really? Do you?
I think I do.
Go ahead.
I think it's the Lion Man, which is actually a little figurine. Somebody's with me.
Uh-huh. It's like a little clay figure.
It's a little carved figure, and it appears to be a human, but it has sort of like a lion's head.
Wow.
And it's like the first real mashup.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And how old is that?
It's probably between 30 and 40,000 years old.
Fascinating.
Yeah. It's really crazy.
And where was it found? Do we know?
In Germany, in a cave in Germany.
Okay. Fascinating. Now, do you have a second part? This is why I travel around. Because I don't know shit, but he knows everything. Right.
This might go even more sideways than, so.
There is no sideways.
Yeah, not in the ChinWag.
There's no sideways.
Well, for you, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So, Freudian or the psychological, well, okay, so, maybe men or cavemen were afraid of their desire to have sex with beasts, or that their.
Okay, this is going
Where are you going with this, man? Where are we going with this, man?
I told you I'd go sideways.
That's okay. I don't know if I call this sideways that we're going, but...
Maybe it was an anxiety, right? And so apparently men were, afraid of chimera or hybrids or something like that, but women were more accommodating, and men were maybe more afraid of or having to remedy or
Do you think
make a
in some way these
remediation
things
for-
were like a kind of literalization of a taboo to keep you from having sex with an animal?
Oh, okay.
Seriously?
No, that's very
Yeah, was
good.
it some sort of thing that established... I don't know if that's what you're asking me.
Something like that.
Okay.
Unicorn. Coincidence?
Oh,
Castration anxiety?
I think it's a coincidence, yes. I think that's a coincidence.
Paul's like, yes.
Yeah, it is. I don't think they're remotely related to each other. I'm no etymologist, or no linguist, but I don't think they're related. Yes, sir.
No, I want to defend my man here slightly, which is there.
I don't deserve it, but
There could, if you do a psychoanalytic view of this shit, you could be like, well, what is this about? And if you were a Freudian, maybe even a Jungian, you might be like, well, there's something phallic about a unicorn.
Sure, yeah.
And
Sure.
that's all I got. Next question.
I mean, cavemen in a cave, and
Yes,
You need to stop right now.
You're lonely and you need that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you there, sir, for the... Yep, thank you. Thank you. Yes, next. Next.
How do you go after that one?
Yeah, I know. How do you follow the bestiality question?
I can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could. I love you both, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask a question. I really like the dragon talk about East versus West.
Yeah.
So I was curious, Stephen, about any of the knowledge you had, because as I understand it, the Scythian culture, steppe nomads,
Yeah.
went from east to west into Europe and into East Asia with their beliefs, a lot of animalist type effects.
Yeah.
And I was curious if you knew anything more about the use of dragons in Europe during the medieval times, because I believe the Alans, Iranian tribe, did kind of transmit that into European culture.
I wish I could say
I
something.
know. I wish I
definitive.
knew a lot more about
Yeah,
dragons.
but
We should do a dragon.
But I do think you're right.
I'd love
There's
that.
A lot of cultural transmission. And
Sure.
Yeah.
So is it an older trope in the East than it was in the West?
Yes.
Yeah,
It must be, right? Yeah, it must be.
I think
Probably.
it is,
Seems
but-
like it must have been.
But there are predecessors to the dragon in the form of the Hydra in
I guess
the
so.
West.
Yeah,
So
that's
if you
sort of
look at
like, yeah.
the ancients. Yeah.
Do they fight any kind of huge serpent or anything in any of those?
Well, Hercules
Right.
fights the Hydra.
That's true, yeah. The Hydra seems a little different to me than a dragon, but not to split hairs.
Yeah.
But the Hydra seems
I mean,
different.
it looks like to me, it looks like a dragon with 7 heads.
Yeah, yeah. Is it 7?
Isn't it 7
I
heads?
don't
on the
know. Is it
line?
only a 7 heads?
And multitude.
Yeah.
You kill one, you make two.
Well, the one in the Bible, I think, might be 7-headed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, that's right. The
But-
beast. Yeah.
My only point, I'll shut up, but the King Arthur's myth with the sword and the stone,
Mhm.
with the dragon right banner, right? Supposedly that's taken from Alania.
Oh,
So I was just
interesting.
curious because they're, like I said,
Interesting.
East-West tribe.
We're going to do some research
Yeah,
on
we'll
this.
do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, then we'll do a whole
Next
episode
one.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do a
Love you
whole
guys.
episode.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't really know enough about it at all. I don't know anything about anything, but I definitely don't know about dragons. Hello, sir.
How are you?
Good, fantastic.
I was just wondering, any conjecture on what future myths might look like from what's going on today?
What things will turn into, like
That's very
what kinds of
interesting
things, it
question.
is interesting.
Yeah.
What things will transmute into. It's hard to know, like what do we look at now where there's sort of myth being formed? What's that? Yeah.
I think it could be that there's, if you look at what people have a lot of anxiety about, that tells you, I think, about what the mythology is going to be. And we have a lot of anxiety around artificial intelligence,
That's true,
cyborg,
right.
futures. So there could be mythologies about that are
Or it'll
emerging.
pick up the old things about sort of, all the kind of Pygmalion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Creation being something that's you. By the way, another thing that when I was reading about Crete that's really cool is this figure of Talos, which is an artificial man. It's the earliest example of a robot,
cool.
basically.
Really
and
cool.
he's animated by a fluid in his body.
Oh, really?
And I don't know if it's Daedalus or who it is that made him, but the way to defeat him is you pierce, I think it's Jason, pierces his ankle and the
fluid runs
stuff
out.
flows out of him.
Wow,
But
that's
it's cool
awesome.
that there's a kind of like, there's a mechanical man.
Like an autonomous.
Yeah, that really is. It's really cool. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
So not to bring up bestiality or anything again, but
Let's go.
so I had the thought
Oh boy.
about the present here. I have a two-parter,
Okay.
unrelated two-parter, where eunuchs are a thing.
Eunuchs?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Unicorns are a thing.
I'm telling you, they're not.
No, I know, no, they're not. But you mentioned the whole virgin relation to
Okay.
unicorns.
Got it.
And I don't know anything about anything,
Uh-huh.
admitting to everybody in this room. But
But
it
you
was
get a
like,
two-part question.
yeah, it was very interesting. Just the thought to me about like the concept of eunuch and the concept of unicorn being related to virgin and how they could be related or connected. And anything that has one horn could be a unicorn,
Okay.
but not a unicorn,
Yeah.
technically. So I get that. Part two,
I think they're completely different.
they are, and I agree.
One is a Greek root, one is a Latin
I
root,
absolutely
one is a horse, one is a guy. None of it's related.
Over in the corner, you all talk about unicorns, unicorns,
Oh my
all
God.
kind of makes sense.
Okay.
But then
It all makes
bestiality
sense.
happened, and I was like, hold up,
Yep.
I don't need to talk about this.
Okay.
But I'm a big fan of how things sound phonetically.
Got it.
Okay? So
Clearly.
when the concept of Minotaur and Minotaur were brought up,
Yes.
but it was King Minos, not King Minos,
Yes.
I was curious about your opinion on that.
I think what Minotaur means is bull of Minos.
Yeah.
Is what
Okay.
it means. It doesn't have anything to do with sort of, it means the bull of Minos
Yeah,
is
okay.
what it means. We're clear on Minotaur, right?
No, Minotaur is fine, but Minotaur sounds better than Minotaur.
Minotaur, yes it does.
Exactly.
Why that happens, I don't know.
See, that's
No, that's
how
a really
the
good-
ear works.
Gotcha, I got you. I see where you went. I see where you went.
Clarify
I see
with
where you went.
everyone in the room
I got it.
phonetics and how things sound.
Yes, sir. I got it. I'm with you. I got it.
Okay.
Here's an interesting thing, a thing that I didn't get to put out about the Minotaur, and that is that there's a funny that Dante, and I think it happened with a lot of people in the Middle Ages, but when Dante wrote his, the Inferno, the first part of the Divine Comedy, there was I think a common misperception of what the Minotaur was through a mistranslation of something that Ovid wrote. And so that he depicts the Minotaur not as a human with the head of a bull. He depicts it as the body of a bull with a human head.
That must look great.
That's so stupid looking, isn't it? If you think about that, you're like, if that had been what it was, it wouldn't have worked.
That's more frightening. That's more horrifying.
You think that's more
Yes.
horrifying? I think
Dude's
that's so
head on-
stupid.
Oh my God.
No, I think that would look ridiculous.
No, that would scare the shit out of me.
Really?
Yes.
Just a stupid little head on the big body?
Screaming as it runs at you? My God.
I don't find that scary at all. I would feel like that is stupid. You look stupid, sir. I would not be frightened of that at all. That would just look idiotic. Okay, here we
Here
go.
we go, the Cubs.
Chicago Cubs.
All right.
All right.
So this whole time I just kept thinking of my closest analog being a Gen X guy was the old Dungeons and Dragons monster manuals.
Yeah.
And if you guys ever are familiar with those, I was fascinated with those as
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you play it?
I did a little bit, but I liked reading the books more.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth.
Yeah, I never played it, but I like looking at the books.
Me too.
Yeah, so I just kept thinking of, kept flashing back to those
Nice.
manuals and reading those.
Those were great.
Yeah.
All the different monsters in them. So great. I just can't.
That was all I had.
Well,
Thanks, man.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
no, those were great, those things.
I just add to what you're saying too is that like a lot of the stuff we're talking about got resuscitated by like the gamers in Dungeons and Dragons, but also the comic books like Stan Lee, EC Comics, all of the comics. They are remarkably rich in mythology, and then now
new
you got
mythology, but kind of drawing on
right.
things. And,
They're reinventing it, and Harry
Right.
Potter reinvents it. It never goes away. It
No,
just keeps
none of that
getting
stuff
new.
ever goes away. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you. Hello. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
So excluding the D&D guy,
Uh-huh.
how high are y'all?
Why did you exclude
Wait,
him?
why exclude him?
You seem perfectly
You
coherent.
seem completely rational. You seem clean. You seem clear to you. It's an interesting. How high are you, sir?
IPAs.
Out of your fucking mind, aren't you?
Portland.
It's Portland,
No, just IPA. Just IPAs.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it? Okay, no. Yeah. But amazingly, I'm not high right
No,
now.
I'm going to squeeze an important insight out of this question, which
Great.
is
I like this. This is a real teacher. You can get something out of that.
Yeah, I'm going to plus this. You're bringing up something that is important to all this, which is intoxication, ecstasy. And a lot of this stuff is involved in, if you think about mythology,
Sure.
the whole tradition, there's usually some kind of intoxicants or altered states of consciousness.
I suppose
that
that's true.
Activates the imagination.
Yeah.
And it plays a large role in this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it allows for free flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yes,
does.
it does.
It inhibits your inhibitions.
Yes.
Amazing. Uh-oh, here comes more
that's
guys.
inspiring.
Here we go, there's more guys coming. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
For that
No more
insight.
bestiality.
Yep, no
You
more.
guys want to know about bestiality.
These are just going to be questions about bestiality and eunuchs.
Perfectly clean.
I don't know that.
Then
Is that
sit
it?
down.
Oh, no, you chased them away? Oh, they told you to sit down. We'll take one more. We're supposed to get out of here? You already asked me. I like this guy. All right, this is going to be the last question. This better be good, and it better not be about bestiality.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I was curious about your thoughts regarding what it means about our individual minds coming together to believe something so fully, like what it says about how our consciousness works together when we get groupthink going on.
That's something we're definitely interested in a lot.
Yeah, it's a good question.
That's something we talk about a lot.
Yeah.
It's this kind of collective imagination and collective agreement on things. Professor, take it away.
I was just thinking, I hope Paul fields this question.
I'm just an actor. I'm in show business.
I mean, one thing is that the mind is not stuck in the skull or in the head. It's sort of distributed in the environment a little bit. Like your mind, my mind. Yeah, I don't mean that in some really
Like an
spooky
ether
way.
or something?
No,
Like
I mean,
we're in a sort of an element of context.
Like through our language and communication.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So the mind is extended. This is what it's called officially. Is there's a kind of extension of the mind in language, in symbols, in images, in our phones, in our tech, in writing.
Yeah.
And so there's a kind of like infection that this is, that we're giving each other about ideas.
Isn't that the original meaning of a meme, though?
Yes.
Yes, right?
Richard
No, it
Dawkins'
is.
idea, yeah.
That's the original idea of a meme.
Yeah, like
it's a
the
kind of
genes-
psychological infection, sort of, right? Shared and passed on. Right?
Exactly, yeah. So that's one way to think of it. The more mystical way is that tulpa theory that we've talked about before.
Right, yeah. Is he here? He's here. David Lynch! There he is. He just came. Oh, there he's leaving. Drive safe, David. Keep going, Professor.
Well, I don't have much on this, but there is a
Tulpa
theory.
thing, is that David Lynch? Is he talking about that?
There's a theory that when we imagine something together, and we concentrate on it, it can actually bring it into existence in the physical world.
Right.
And that's a kind of a more mystical way. It comes out of the Tibetan tradition, but it's not a dominant view in Tibet, but it's a sort of minority view in Tibet. That you can just by meditating and concentrating create a creature.
You create a kind of personal
ghost
deity, sort of personal sort of thing to relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fascinating.
That's harder. And so consult season 3.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot.